Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV, ready for lineup predictions for tomorrow afternoon's game, 12:30 midday kickoff away to the Hammers at the London Stadium, live on BT Sports. 5th place going up against 17th place, West Ham on the fringes of the top 4, just 2 points behind Man United in 4th and 2 points ahead of Arsenal in 6th. So it's going to be a tough game. Just been having a look at some of the information about the West Ham game. But before we get into that, first of all, let me know that you're there. Aaron, good to see you as always, mate. Thank you very much. Can always rely on you, my friend. Before we get into it, who knows wins? Check it out in the description below. All the information is there. This is your opportunity to win a free Newcastle United shirt of your choosing. Download the app, deposit £5 to play, and play on the Pick 10. Similar to Soccer 6, apart from you don't need to get all the scores correct, but there is a prize if you just got to be in it to win it. There's a £6,000 pot up for grabs. Whoever gets the most results correct, not them all right. You don't have to get them all right. Whoever gets the most results correct gets the pot prize, and there is prizes for runners-up as well. So download the link below and send a DM of proof. That's how you've got to be in it to win the Newcastle United shirt. Send a DM of proof to the Magpie Channel's Instagram. Should have it in a bar along the bottom. Where is the information? Download the app there. There we are. There's the handles down there. So yeah, subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV, first of all, on Instagram, on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. And yeah, so once you make your £5 deposit, play along in the Pick 10. That's important. Play the Pick 10. You can play anything you want after that, to be honest. But to be in it, Pick 10, screenshot, DM, Instagram, just to let we know. And that's how you get entered into the competition to win a Newcastle United shirt. And also, if you can see the comment that I put on not long ago, make sure that you subscribe to interact. This is how we're going to get you guys now. We're going to make sure that you guys are subscribed to the Magpie Channel TV. Appreciate you all that are there. Aaron, hello. John, hello. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well on the band. Yeah, make sure that you subscribe. Very important that you get us under the subscribes list. We appreciate it. Villa Boys, hello. Good to see you. Fair play. It was a good game. Good. Well, actually, it wasn't, to be fair. It was a bit of a shit game, but good for us because we got the win. Yeah, it was fair play. I like Villa. You're doing well. Gerard doing well. But yeah, we took the 3 points. That's all that counts. Yeah, so make sure that you subscribe to join along in the live comments. Good to get your predictions in as we go. Get your comments in. I like to see what everybody's thinking about the game. So make sure that you do that. And also just want to give a shout out to Patrick McNally and Nick Spence of the Mason Arms in Warkworth. Hello, lads. Hope you are well. Into the West Ham game, though. Having a look at some of the stats about this game. And we've done okay at the London Stadium since we got promoted back in 2017. We've won 3 out of 4 meetings. And there's always goals in it. 2-0 last season, first game of the season. Seems like a long time ago. Jeff Hendrick, man of the match, one and only, and first good performance in a Newcastle shirt, goal and an assist. And then the 2 previous games to that were both 3-2 wins for Newcastle. It was 4-2 in the first game this season, opening game of the season, as it always is, because the Premier League like to recycle fixtures instead of at the London Stadium. It was at St James's Park. West Ham got the win that game, unfortunately, so we've got to make amends here and get the win. 4-2, that one was. It was 3-2 again at St James's last season and 2-2 the year before. So there's always goals in it. If you look at some of them, 4-2, multiple 3-2s, a 2-2, couple of 2-0s for West Ham wins in there at the London Stadium previous years as well. Yeah, so it's 3-0 to West Ham at St James's in 2018, 2-0 to West Ham at the London Stadium in 2019. So yeah, goals. If you're a betting man, get on the 2.5 goals in the game. Watch it not be, because I'm shit at betting. It'll probably be a fucking nil-niller because of this storm. I could say, ooh, put some money on it raining tomorrow. Probably be 30 degrees outside, so don't listen to me. I'm shite at that. So yeah, West Ham sitting in 5th, looking comfortable, pushing for that top 4. But having a look at some of the last 5, just having a look at the run-in, not as good as you would expect for a team fighting for the top 4. 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw in the last 5 games. And the 2 wins against teams below us. West Ham and... No, it wasn't West Ham. It was... Who was it? Who was it? I'm looking at the wrong one. There we go. Norwich. I was looking at our run and I was thinking, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, Norwich and Watford were the 2 teams that West Ham have beat in the last 5. A 2-0 win against Norwich, a 1-0 win against Watford, and got beat off Leeds, who we beat, and got beat off Man United, who we drew with. So, yeah, not as good as it would have seemed. 2-2 in the last outing against Leicester. So 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw in the last 5. Against us, unbeaten. 3 wins in a row and 2 draws as well. So 3 wins, 2 draws in our last 5. Unbeaten. 2 clean sheets in that run-in as well. Only 3 goals conceded. Nobody would have thought that a few months ago. 5 goals. What was it at the start of the season? I think it was like 12 goals or something in the first. Was it 4 games? I think it was. It was obviously 4 against West Ham in the opener. 2 against Villa away, wasn't it? That was the second game of the season. I think we conceded like 12 goals in the first 3-4 games. So much different, much improved under Eddie Howe, as you can tell by this run-in. Unbeaten in 5, which is absolutely mental. Let's have a look. So a win and a clean sheet would be major against West Ham. One of them could, let's get in. 4 wins in a row. Haven't done that since April 2018 under Rafa Benitez. Obviously didn't do it under Steve Bruce because Steve Bruce barely got fucking 1 win in a row. So, yeah, 4 wins off the bounce that we're on the run for now. Touch wood, we'll get it. Beef since 2018 that we've done that. And we've not had 2 successive away clean sheets in the Premier League since December 2013. Obviously, the last away game was the 1-0 win against Leeds, Everton and Villa being at home. So it seems like ages ago because that was before, that was kind of middle of January, kind of end of January before the break away to Saudi Arabia, before some of the signings, before deadline day. So it seems like a lifetime ago that was. But yeah, that was the last away game. And yeah, the way that we're on now, if we win, 2 successive away wins, which is mental. Clean sheets, I think it is, sorry. 2 successive clean sheets away in the Premier League since December 2013. That record held by Tim Krul. And we could also break Premier League history, as no team in Premier League history has scored a direct free kick in 4 consecutive games. We're obviously on a 3-game streak now. 2 of them in the last 2 games by Kieran Trippier, and that winner away to Leeds by John Joe Shelvey. So obviously Trippier's going to be out, isn't he? So kind of putting my hopes on Shelvey. Maybe someone else. I'm not really sure who's that good at free kicks, with Richie being out, and I don't know, I've never really seen anyone else take a free kick, to be fair. So Fabian Shaw maybe could have a look at someone like him. So yeah, could be Premier League history with a direct free kick. Going into who's there, though, and we'll quickly start with West Ham. Not really much to talk about, to be fair, apart from the cat kicker, Kurt Zouma. Was in the starting lineup going into the Leicester game, but pulled out in the warm-up due to a stomach illness. He's questionable going into this Newcastle game. He's been back in training. He's a bit better, but still a bit of a doubt. Other than that, though, Moisey's been keeping his cards close to his chest. Wouldn't like to tell who's available and who's not, which I guess is good tactics. I mean, it's not very good for me. If I was doing the West Ham channel, it would ruin lineup predictions, wouldn't it? I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have a clue what I was talking about. Like, that's why I like to wait for the press conferences. The manager will tell you who's in, who's out, questionable, doubts, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I think there was maybe a little bit of an issue with Mikel Antonio. But, yeah, fair play to Moisey by not leaking the information to Newcastle, because we'll kind of be underprepared. If you come out and say who's in, who's out, then you can prepare for that, can't you? So pretty good tactics by David Moyes. Shithousery at its finest, but I respect it. Fair play. So into the Newcastle team news then, and it's not as bad as it could be, but obviously the main news being Kieran Trippier. He is out, had an operation yesterday that went well, which is good news. Obviously good news that the operation went well for a broken bone in his foot. But what comes next after what Eddie Howe says, I don't like it. Says he had the operation yesterday, went well. We aim to have him back before the end of the season, but it's a significant injury, which is a big blow for us. We aim to have him back by the end of the season, but that's shithousery. That, like, I do not like that one little bit, do I not? So question marks there whether we'll see Kieran Trippier in the black and white shirt for the remainder of the season, which is horrendous, just the same as what he said about Callum Wilson a couple of weeks ago. May not see either one of them for the remainder of the season, which is horrendous. Looking at it on paper, probably two of our key, most influential players. Obviously, gutting that we haven't had Callum Wilson for the last few weeks. I think him being in the middle, even though we've been winning games, like, you can't really complain at a winning team, but I feel like we'd score more goals. Can you imagine if Callum Wilson was in there for some of them? Especially like Watford, like Man United, where we got them 2 draws. We could have 4 or 5 wins off the trot. Who knows? But yeah, it's a bit disappointing that, but I suppose it is what it is. So yeah, best of luck to Kieran Trippier, especially the form he's been in. 2 goals in these last 2 games, direct from free kicks. Captain's armband at the weekend as well, fully deserved in the absence of Jamal Lascelles. So yeah, that's a little bit disappointing. And the other one that went off in that game was Javier Manquillo. Picked up an injury, ankle injury in the game against Aston Villa. It just landed awkwardly. Thought it may have been ligament damage, but Eddie Howe says he doesn't know how serious it is, but they don't think it'll be too serious. So serious enough to miss the West Ham game. He's going to be questionable against Brentford next week, so hopefully he can make that recovery within the next few days, up to a week. But we'll have to wait and see about Manquillo. But yeah, Eddie Howe says he doesn't think it's going to be that serious, which is brilliant news. Let's get into the rest. Obviously, Wilson, as I mentioned, Matt Ritchie are long-term absentees, as well as Federico Fernandez, who is nearing a full return to training, but still not quite there yet. So unfortunate not to have him back, just to give Eddie Howe a bigger headache in defence, which he did mention about as well. He says, I'll have to make a decision that's best for the team. Obviously, regarding Lascelles being out last week, Shaw being part of the last 5 games where we've been unbeaten, 2 clean sheets, 3 wins in a row. So it'd be harsh to drop. It's harsh to drop anyone, really. It's just unfortunate for Jamal Lascelles. He gets a lot of stick. I'm not his biggest fan myself, but when you're winning, when you're doing well, you can't really complain too much. But Dan Burn came in, man of the match, outstanding performance against Brighton. Not against Brighton, that's where he come from. Villa. Outstanding performance against Villa, man of the match performance. So a bit of a headache for Eddie Howe. He says you want a squad that's pushing and fighting for each other. I think whoever plays knows if they don't perform, they have a very good player waiting for their opportunity to get back in, which I absolutely couldn't agree more myself. I've always said squads win you things, not starting 11s. People talk about the starting 11 a little bit too much and kind of disrespect those waiting behind them. Great. Competition, fight for a place. That's what it's all about. You don't get no easy rides in this sport. Everybody, whether you're the best player on the field, if you're not performing, inconsistent performances, not turning up in training, see you. Sit yourself on the bench, let someone else have an opportunity. That's the way I think about it. So, yeah, headache now with do a play 3 at the back, which would change the formation. Obviously, we're winning at the minute, so it would be a bit harsh to change anything. I wouldn't personally be changing anything. So someone's got to sit on the bench. We'll get to that. That's going to be a big talking point in the lineup prediction when I come to that. So hold on and let me know what you think in the comments. So Lascelles, as I say, is back. Missed the game against Villa with an illness, but he has been back in training and is back in contention for the game, which is great news. Matt Targett, he's also back. Obviously, sat out the Villa game due to being on loan from his parent club. Just going to run through a little bit more about Eddie Howe's press conference, and he mentioned about playing against West Ham. Says, you know how difficult the game is, how difficult it's going to be for us. But on the recent run and the confidence we have, we've proved we can compete with anyone in the division. We will need to be at our very best levels again, especially physically. A very tough team there. You look at them, Diop, Souček, Antonio, three very strong players in the background there with Shelvey on the opening game of the season. Is that Diop or is that Ogbonna? Can't remember. I think it's Ogbonna in it. Sorry about that. And then talking about the midfield, he says it's a really strong area, probably our strongest in terms of personnel. Every player would have an argument to say, I deserve to start. So long may that continue. As I say, options, rotation, availability. We've got Joe Willock there. We've got Joe Linton and Shelvey, who've started the last few games and been fantastic. Joe Willock, especially having a really, really poor season, to be fair. He's been a massively underwhelming signing, coming in as a 25 million signing. Brilliant loan spell last season, but massively underwhelming, massively underperformed. Wasn't getting game time ahead of Sean Longstaff, who's obviously down in the pecking order now. But yeah, that's exactly why marquee signing Bruno Guimaraes hasn't made a first team start yet, because Joe Willock's keeping him out of the squad, just as Joe Linton, just as Shelvey are. So it's brilliant that we've got a marquee signing like Bruno, can't get a sniff in at the minute. Come from a foreign league, so it's probably good to ease him in a little bit instead of chucking him in at the deep end. And it's brilliant that we haven't needed to. We don't need a 40 million Brazilian marquee signing. How good is that? What a reflection that is on the team. So Brucey, forget that, RIP. Bruno, Eddie Howe mentioned him. He says, he will start a lot of games for us and will be a huge player. I don't think this period where he's watching and learning from the Premier League is a bad thing. For him, although it will frustrate him because he wants to show his talents. And it's frustrating for the fans as well, of course. Like, we want to sign him. He is the big January marquee signing. So, of course, we want to sign him. Having war flags, put the banners in the stadium for him. But, like I say, it is probably a good thing in the long run. Like I say, Willock's keeping him out. Joe Linton and Shelvey are playing fantastic. We're winning. So, don't change it. Absolutely no need to change it. He is relatively young at 24 years old. And sometimes coming to the Premier League, especially from teams like France, you've seen player after player, better, higher quality, more known players than Bruno. Like, thinking back to like Falcao and Di Maria, Higuain. It was the other one that they had, Morata at Chelsea. Like, these players were massive marquee signings and struggled. Only had 1 year or so in the Premier League and bailed because they couldn't handle it. So while we're winning, don't throw Bruno in. Sitting on the bench, watching at a close distance about the physicality, about what is expected, and then bleeding him in. I think it was Everton, he probably only played about 5 minutes. I think Villa, he played more 10. So break him in slowly, sit on the side, watch the Premier League from close. A few appearances here and there. Hopefully against West Ham, he can get 15 minutes. Hopefully he can get 20 minutes. If we need to, of course, any injuries or silly red cards or anything, then obviously bring him in sooner. But if we're winning, if we're struggling, obviously he's got that quality that he can change the game up, hopefully. So he's there if we need him. But if we don't need him, then still, yeah, I'd love to see him for another 15, 20 minutes just to break him in a little bit more. So we'll get to see a little bit more of him and to challenge Willock, Shelvey and Joe Linton. That's what they're there for. That's what squad rotation's all about. Fight for your place, and you will get there eventually, obviously, but for now, not entirely necessary, is it? And a couple of other things that I noticed in the images from the training ground pictures that were released, there is a couple of youngsters, obviously with Trippier out, Manquillo, Wilson, Ritchie, and Fernandez, and obviously the other ones like Lewis not available in the squad anymore, and Isaac Hayden, people like that. Maybe a little bit lacking on the bench. But question marks over the fitness of Paul Dummett as well. So Lucas De Ball got like a bench debut, unused sub on the bench, which is brilliant for him. Lots of images from him in training, as well as defender Charlie Wiggett and striker Michael Ndweni. So maybe he's a lookout for them. Maybe De Ball will get a spot on the bench again. Maybe one of the others. Maybe two of them. Who knows? Let's have a little look and see what's going on. Going to come and have a little look into your comments there before I jump into my lineup prediction. Hope Target plays another blinder. Yes, that is going to be a very good matchup against Jared Bowen, who's playing absolutely fantastic at the minute. I'm buzzing to see Target back. It is unfortunate that he had such a good debut and then had to sit out his second game. Kind of might have killed momentum a little bit there, but hopefully not. Yeah, he is going to have a good game up against Jared Bowen, so I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup. Hopefully Target has the better of it. Hello, Stephen. Don't normally chat, but just watch, but want to say hello. Thank you very much. Appreciate you subscribing. Appreciate you watching. I love it. Thank you very much. Feel free to join in. If you don't want to, then just sit back and watch the show. But if you want to join in, then of course we'll have a little chat, as we will for every one of you. But make sure you subscribe first. Heard people prefer... Yeah, I'm going to get into this. I'm pleased you mentioned that, Aaron. Thank you. Right. I'm going to make a note of that. Murphy. Right. Get back into that when I come back to do the lineup prediction, because I do want to talk about that, and I'll come back to you. Hello, Callum. Can't drop Burn. Yeah, that is a very good point. We will get into that one. Wood has a decent record against West Ham, just as Callum Wilson has. Loads and loads of goals, Callum Wilson, so I hope he bags a hat-trick. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Hopefully he can pop up with a few goals tomorrow. Yeah, whoever it is up front, obviously, yeah. Wood needs to get a goal, needs to get his form up, been doing everything else right. Decent hold-up play, but yeah, can't really do much until you get a goal. No reason to change the team for tomorrow other than right back, where I would like to see Kraft play. Yes, Callum Lewis, agree with that one. One fullback out, another in due to Target. One way to look at it. Yeah, that's true. Very, very true, I suppose, yeah. Put Richie right back, Target left back. Richie's out injured, so can't be doing that, mate. Obviously, don't want to change a winning team, but would love to see a bit more of Bruno. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, as I say, we all want to see Bruno. Like, we're all buzzing to see his first start, but can I change a winning team at the minute? Like, can you? Let's have a look. 9-0. Wood triple hat-trick. Get some money on that. Would absolutely cream out of that one. Looking forward to the midfield battle, Julian versus Rice. Ooh, that is going to be a good battle. Like, ooh, I'd love to see that one. Be prepared for a good hiding. All right, will do. We need to get closer to Woods. He looks lost. Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, he does look a bit isolated. Kind of like what we did under Steve Bruce, like Joe Linton in his first season, Callum Wilson in his first season. A lot of the times, the way we're playing the formation, strikers just look mad isolated. Like, obviously being a lot better recently, but Wood just look a little bit lost at times, like, doesn't he? Wouldn't swap any of the main midfield. Yes, want to see Bruno, but he will have to wait. Yep. Because changing the main three now, that will just break the confidence. Yeah, it'll put a bit of the brakes on momentum a little bit, won't it? Plus, we need Shelby for free kicks. Yeah, Shelby's not going anywhere at the minute. Yeah, keep the win in midfield. Bruno, Shelby, and Joelinton on midfield. All right, people want to see Willock out. Shelby, Joelinton, and Dan Burn all have 5 yellows. Do they? Or they're not on 4? I think they might be only on 4 and then waiting for a suspension in the next game. I'd take a draw. I'd take a draw, to be fair. Like, West Ham sitting in 5th, trying to break top 4. Why not? Yeah, I could say worse results. Obviously, we got beat by them 4-2 at St. James's at the start of the season, so I'd take a draw. But obviously, we want to keep that momentum building. We want to break away from that bottom 3. 4 points out of it now, which is huge, but can turn very, very quickly in the Premier League. You can't take them 4 points for granted. We're still only 17th. Doesn't look pretty being down there still. And then 4 points can swing in a couple of weeks. So need to keep that momentum. Another 3 points. 4 in a row for the first time since 2018 would be more than appreciated. Bring Bruno on when West Ham's midfield and defence get tired. Yeah, that would be a good tactic. Let's see. Right, going to get into the lineup there then. 25 minutes in and I haven't even begun yet. I'm going to switch things up a little bit this week. Going to change it from the way that I normally do it in going back to front. I think the front is pretty obvious, really. Like, it can pretty much pick itself. So don't need to really jabber on about it too much. It's the back line I want to talk about. So going back front to back there then. And obviously no changes necessary, especially not in that front three. Nobody really challenging Chris Wood at the minute. Obviously, Dwight Gale, the only other striker, as I mentioned about Wood before, needs a goal, needs confidence, doing the hard work, doing everything else right. It is just in front of goal where his confidence looks a little bit shaky. As someone mentioned, he has got a good record against West Ham, so hopefully he can get one off the board just to get his confidence in. And yeah, just needs that confidence, needs a goal, needs to just. I think that once that one goal comes, the rest will. It's kind of typical of a striker. Sometimes they can go through a goal rut where nothing's going well for them. Just need the one to just break momentum really and just start to build on that. Maxi, indispensable player for the team. Ryan Fraser in the best form that he's been in for a long, long time. So front three, untouchable. And you could also argue the midfield three are as well, as I've already mentioned a couple of times so far. Shelvey, Joelinton and Willock, keeping Bruno Guimaraes out away from his first start, which we all want to see. And I'm glad that some of you are agreeing because I said the same thing last week. A lot of people didn't agree. But yeah, don't change a winning team. Absolutely unnecessary. So the front, the first six going forward, doesn't really need mention too much. Bruno will get his chance. Hopefully he comes on a little bit earlier. So we do see a little bit more of him. So that's it. Don't really need to go any further than that. And I'm going to save centre-back to last because I think that is going to bring the biggest conversation. Maybe it's potentially a little bit controversial. But for full-backs, going to keep it as simple. Obviously, Dubravka in goal, target left-back. No discussions there whatsoever. Maybe it's a little bit at right-back. I've already seen it in the comments. As Aaron rightly mentioned so before, I have seen people on Twitter wanting Jacob Murphy. Obviously, people aren't Emil Kraft's biggest fan. They never really have been. I think people are a little bit harsh on him, to be fair. He's not glitzy. He's not glamorous. He's far from world class. He's bang average at best some weeks. But sometimes he comes in and does the dirty work. Sometimes he's better than what people give him credit for. Last couple of times I've seen him, last time he started, in fact, was the Man United game where we drew 1-1. And that was arguably his best performance in a Newcastle shirt. And that was the last time he started. A little bit of a performance last week against Villa due to the injuries to Trippier and Manquillo. Him and Dummett had to come on to replace them and done all right. Didn't do anything wrong in my opinion. But the people that are wanting to bring in Murphy don't really know about that one, like, because he's not the best defensively. I don't mind him in like a back five. Which we might have to go into depending on the availability of some centre-backs. But let's say if we do go into a back five, that means one of the midfielders will have to drop out, which isn't really happening. Like you could argue maybe play Shelvey and Joelinton, but that's keeping both Bruno and Willock out. If you played Shelvey and if you played Bruno and Joelinton, then that means Willock and Shelvey are dropping out, which we don't need to do. So nah, I'm not in for changing the formation in the slightest. Don't want to see that at all. Murphy, he's not the best defender. Getting forward, providing a bit of a threat going forward and a delivery. I think Dan Burn, not Dan Burn, the other big lad, Chris Wood, would thrive off of his delivery. He's obviously a better crosser, more of a winger, of course, than what Kraft is. But nah, like especially going up against like Bowen, they can switch sides. They've got like the likes of Fornells and a couple of other decent players West Ham have. So defensively, Murphy's not it. Put some respect on Emil Kraft's name. It's not all bad. I think people are very, very harsh on him, and he deserves this opportunity. He is currently the only right back that we have in the squad. Some might argue that he's better as a right-sided centre-back when we're playing in a back five or a back three. But yeah, the last time that he started a game for Newcastle, he was a right-back, and it probably was his best performance in a Newcastle shirt against Man United, where Manquillo started at left-back. Both of them outstanding. So don't want to see Murphy there, particularly. Obviously, with Trippier and Manquillo being out, Richie being out, Dummett you don't really want to see as a right back, do you? And it would be the same with Dummett left back and Target right back. Nah, I'm not feeling that. So give Kraft a chance. Hopefully he can prove that he's deserving of it. Like, obviously, squad rotation. When Trippier's back fit, he's on the bench, let's be honest. So now that we're out, and Manquillo as well, I think even when Manquillo, hopefully he's back for the Brentford game, you'd like to see Manquillo on the right and Target on the left, wouldn't you? So it's just this week. Give him a chance, see what he's all about. So yeah, Emil Kraft can more than happily get a start for me. And centre-back, let's get into it. As I say, someone probably has to drop out between Shaw, Lascelles and Byrne. 3 wins off the trot. Obviously, Lascelles missed out last week due to an illness. Dan Byrne had to sit out waiting for his turn against Everton due to a decent performance in the game beforehand against Leeds for Lascelles and Shaw. So there's 3 players all available fighting for 2 spots. What do you do? I know what everyone else is going to want to see. So make sure you get it in the comments. I want to see what you guys both A, want to see, and B, think you'll see. 2 very, very different things for me. So I want to see, same as probably what I seen last week in Shaw and Byrne. But my prediction is this. Lascelles comes back into the team to play alongside Dan Byrne. And I've got very good reasons for it. Dan Byrne keeps his place. So obviously Shaw's the one missing out here, unfortunately. Doesn't deserve it in the slightest. Not saying that he should be dropped whatsoever, but it's a hard choice. An excellent headache to have as a manager when you look at the options that we have at centre-back at the minute, and particularly midfield with Bruno not being able to get in. Eddie Howe's going to love this headache. Squad rotation, not being able to put players in when they deserve it, and especially when Federico Fernandez comes back. It's a brilliant headache to have as a manager. So yeah, Dan Byrne, he goes in for me. Reasons why. Only 1 game, 1 win, 1 clean sheet. Obviously, the 2 clean sheets that we've had in the past 5 games were against Villa, where we're seeing Shaw and Byrne. And the other clean sheet was against Leeds, where we're seeing Shaw and Lascelles. But in all of them games, in the Man United game, the Watford game, Leeds and Everton, where it was Shaw and Lascelles, none of them won a Man of the Match award. Dan Byrne did against Villa. He was that good. Dan Byrne was man of the match in his debut. Absolute solid performance, clean sheet. Can't drop him really, can you? Based off of all that, obviously Geordie boy, loves his club, die for the club. So Byrne stays. Like say, Shaw and Lascelles never got a man of the match. Don't always keep clean sheets. Obviously did against Leeds, but yeah, Dan Byrne, excellent debut, so he stays. And my argument for Lascelles coming in over Shaw is quite simply due to leadership. If Trippier was available, who probably should be captain in everyone's opinion, let's be honest, we all want to see Lascelles stripped of the captaincy and given to Kieran Trippier. If Trippier was available and could have the armband, then I would keep it unchanged. I wouldn't drop Shaw. But because if you look at the rest of that team, where are the leaders? There really isn't any. You'd be looking at Dubravka or Shelvey maybe, but is there leadership there? Chris Wood, captain of New Zealand, could give it to him, or maybe it's Dan Byrne. There's just no leaders. So that's the reason for me, and it's extremely harsh on Fabian Shaw, but we need a leader, and Byrne's performance was outstanding. So simple as that for me, really. Unfortunately, Shaw is going to be the one to miss out, but it's massively questionable. This is why I want to see some of your opinions in the comments. Prediction and hopeful for. Let me see what you guys are thinking. Do you agree with Kraft as well? But yeah, let me see. That is my team. We'll come back to it shortly. Going to jump into the comments before I show you the bench in where you will see Fabian Shaw. And I did mention before the youngsters in Lucas De Boer getting on the bench last week, and as well as seeing a lot of training ground images from Charlie Wiggett and Michael Ndweni. Wiggett gets the nod for me for the simple fact he's a defender. The ball is midfield, and then Ndweni is striker. I think there's more need at the minute, especially with Fernandez, Trippier, and Manquillo all being out. Richie as well. We're not blessed with defensive options. Wiggett is a centre-back who I'm pretty sure can play as a full-back as well. Correct us if I'm wrong. But yeah, I think out of the three of them youngsters, Wiggett is probably most likely or most needed more than what the other two youngsters are. So it'd be nice for another one to get an opportunity. Obviously, De Boer got on the bench last week. So it'd be nice to see someone else in young Charlie Wiggett getting a spot there. There's Dummett, of course, who there's question marks over his fitness. Sean Longstaff and the usual suspects up top. Bruno G, Jacob Murphy, Miggy Almiron, and Dwight Gale. So let me know, guys. Just going to pop the sponsorships on there. Check out Who Knows Wins in the box below in the description. And make sure that you follow us on Instagram to take part in the competition as well, where you can win a Newcastle United shirt. Gonna come into the comments there and see what you guys are saying. See if you agree, see if you disagree, what your opinions are, and give me a score prediction as well. I'm gonna be a little bit generous, and I think I'm gonna say 2-1 Newcastle. I think we are gonna build on the momentum, and I think we will secure 3 points. Right, what are you guys saying? Where did I leave off? That's where I'm trying to get to. We actually stuck with Freddie Woodman at the start. 12 goals conceded in the first 4 games. It was Freddie Woodman that was in goal for that first game of the season against West Ham at home. 2-1 Newcastle. Joelinton and Wood. Joelinton and Wood might give Wood a bit of confidence. Hopefully so. Taking 2-2 draw, 12-1. That's not a bad one, you know. Like I say, there is goals in this. I would fancy more than 2.5 goals, so that would be a good bet to get on. We did draw 2-2. Where was that? At St James's Park, was it? A couple of years ago. Let's say most results are 3-2, 4-2, lots and lots of goals, so it's a good one. Yellow cards reset after 19 games, do they? No, I didn't know that one. That's a new rule to me. No one on a yellow card of suspension. No, that's pretty cool. Will Wood be the worst signing? Absolutely not. The worst signing we've ever had. If you go through the record of the worst signing Newcastle's ever had, there is a truckload. Just because he hasn't scored a goal in, 2 games? Or is it 3 games, sorry. I think he made his debut against Leeds, didn't he? Leeds, Everton and Villa. That games we've won. We've won these games. He's contributed loads in terms of winning possession, keeping the play, getting everyone else involved. Hold-up play has been terrific. It's just the goal, and it's coming. He missed a sitter, that header against Everton. That was disappointing, but he's far from the worst sign we've ever had. Jesus wept. That's a statement and a half. Not a fan of Willock. Well, probably should have watched the last 3 games because he's been pretty good as far as I'm concerned. Is the game still going ahead with the Storms? That is a very good question. There's been no comment from the Premier League yet, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, it is questionable. Things have looked really, really bad down London, not too far from the London Stadium, actually. The O2 arena has been ripped to bits. I've seen people, was it Croydon? That's kind of near West Ham. People getting lifted off their feet, blowing down the street. It's mental, to be fair. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was at least postponed or... I don't know. It's a very good question. So, yeah, the game might get delayed. You never know. Craftu. World class. Lascelles and Burn. Same as what I put in Nathan. Let's see. I would generally like to see Eddie Howe putting his stamp on Kraft or one-on-one with Kraft like he has with Joelinton. Yeah, like he hasn't really had a lot of opportunities. Let's say the last couple that he has, he's been good. So... maybe he is getting the Eddie Howe treatment. Maybe he is getting an influence. But it is just hard getting into the team at the minute, to be fair, especially with the form Trippier's been in. Manquillo's been in really good form recently as well, with Target in there now as well. Dummett getting back to fitness. It's just hard for him to get in, so I feel sorry for him. But yeah, I think he gets a lot of the brunt. Kraft isn't too bad at all. He would have had a harder game against South Shields rather than the current Man United team. Yeah, that's true. Sharon Burn says Tony. clean sheet centre-back pairing. Yes, they were, but so were Shaw and Lascelles against Leeds. Going to be Lascelles and Burn, says Aaron. Antonio will cause Lascelles more problems than he would Burn. If he's available, not too sure what the crack is with Mikel Antonio, as David Moyes did play things very close to his chest. Lascelles and Burn want Shaw and Burn, but think we get Lascelles and Burn. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I want Shaw and Burn, but I think we get Lascelles and Burn exactly the same as what you just said. Burn and Shaw. Think it's between Lascelles and Burn. Don't think Shaw gets left out. It's hard, isn't it? It is a hard one. Lascelles needs to be turning into Titus Bramble 2. Needs not to be turning into Titus Bramble 2, so here's Nick. Needs a good performance like his last one. Was decent against Everton. Obviously got the unfortunate own goal, just ricocheted off him, but then went up the other end. Cannoned a header off the bar, which deflected off Holgate and in for an own goal itself. So good performance against Everton. Yeah, it is just unfortunate that he missed out against Villa. Decent against Leeds. I think it was Watford. That was awful performance against Watford the last time that we didn't win a game 4 games ago. So yeah, very, very difficult decision. Dan Burn was brought in to play well with Lascelles. Thank you very much. We need to see Bruno on for Willock. Why? Why do we need to see Bruno in for Willock? What's the point? Why does Willock deserve dropped? What's Bruno done to deserve a start? Because he's a £40 million signing? No, I can't agree with that one. I prefer Dan Shaw. Keep Ben and Shaw. Go to centre-backs. Dan Burn and Shaw controlled the back 4 last week. Yeah, they did. 2-1 for the tune. Bruno instead of Joe Linton. Really? My prediction is 2-1 to Newcastle. Very, very tough one. I think I would take a draw. Good performance. 2-2 as was it Callum said before. I think that would be a very good result. As long as we get a couple of goals on the score sheet. Love to see Chris Wood break his duct. Maxi, Joe Linton, whoever it is else on the score sheet. I think Willock deserves one as well. I think Willock's performances have warranted a goal. I think he's done everything else but score. I think he's been brilliant. So, yeah, it would be nice to see Willock get on the score sheet. I think he deserves one. Bring Bruno on earlier in the second half. Yeah, agree with that one. 6 of that bench are there, not there next season. Ooh, that's a big statement, John. Let's have a look. Who's that? Dummett, nah. Longstaff, nah. Gale, definitely not. Probably not Murphy. You don't know about Wiggett. He'll probably stay in the academy for a little bit longer. Shaw is out of contract, though, but I have heard that they are going to be renegotiating with him and should be signing a new deals pretty soon. And Darlow's questionable. You can take him or leave him as a backup. Could probably do better, though. So you're probably looking at Darlow, Dummett, Longstaff, Murphy, and Gale probably not be there next season. Yeah, it's a good shout. Kraft is the right call. The only way Murphy plays is in a back 5. And if we play a 5-3-2 with both Maxi and Wood up top, but no one wants to see that. Stick to how it works. Exactly, Aaron. My opinion, exactly. 2-1-2, 1-1, a 1-1 stalemate. There's one that says he'd play Murphy over Kraft. I get that Murphy is defensively useless, but Kraft is offensively useless, but I'd rather try score than defend. I don't think Kraft's offensively useless. He's not the best in terms of delivery. Jacob Murphy is much better crosser than Kraft. But if you remember that game against Man United where he last started, done an amazing little dinky run, and it was Maxi won it. Maxi fluffed his lines, just didn't get a good connection on it. Kraft broke through the defense, walked through them, in fact, didn't even break through, strolled through the defense. Nice little footwork, showed a little turn of pace, good delivery into Maxi. Maxi just fluffed his lines. So I wouldn't say he's useless. I think that's very harsh. Although I do agree, Murphy is better offensively. So it is a tough decision. Well, it's not even a tough decision, really. Like, Murphy's not a fullback. I think we get torn apart at the back. I agree that I'd rather score than defend. I am very attacking-minded myself. I love to see goals scored. Not really a fan of sitting back and defending. But I think we'll still win with Kraft. Maybe not win, but perform well with Kraft. Like, he's better defensively, decent offensively. Whereas Murphy's good offensively, horrendous defensively. So if you balance them out, I still think Kraft tips Murphy, to be honest. 2-2, 2-2, 2-1, 2-2, 3-1, 1-0 or 1-1. Shelby and Wood to score. Think they get at least one, though. Bowen probably in very good form. I'm pretty sure he's in my fancy team now. So that would be nice. A 2-1 win for Newcastle. That was my prediction. If Bowen can get on the score sheet, Maxie's in my team as well. So if they can both get on the score sheet, I'll be a happy lad. Andreas Anderson was the worst. We all know Andreas Anderson. What a player, though. Like, once he left Newcastle, he was an absolute baller, but I was a little bit Peter Dinklage like money. 1-0 Toon. Wood being the worst, saying Shefki Kuchi. Kuchi was alright, man. Like, he was fucking useless, but he done the bit. He got a couple of goals, and you'll never forget the dive thing. That was incredible. Love Kuchi, cult hero, but he was a little bit lifting. 4-3-3, target burn, Lascelles, Shaw right back? Is that what I'm saying? Ooh, don't know about that one, Mike. 3-1, ASM to score, ASM, Wood, Fraser, Andy O'Brien. Marcelino, he was lifting. I'm not going to have anyone put a bad name on Andy O'Brien, though. But yeah, you can take Marcelino, he was lifting. Kraft has more goals in the Premier League than Messi and Ronaldo. That is a fact. It is a fact. It's a good fact. Watched every game, and it's my opinion, which I'm sure I'm entitled. Yeah, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Absolutely, everybody. Love you getting in your comments, but it's up to me to tell you what I think as well. 3-4-3. Burn, Charlotte Cells. See, I wouldn't change that. So who's missing out with that? That's dropping. J7, John Joe, Fraser. I don't know what I'm seeing there. Defense. All right, target as a wing. All right, let's say target as a wing back. Fraser as a wing back. 3 in midfield. All right, I could get on board with that. To be fair, is there someone missing there, or am I missing something? No. That is. To be fair, yeah, that's not too bad actually. I do like that. Yeah. John Joe off second half. Right, gonna drop that there then. Thank you very much for your contribution this evening. Gonna put my lineup back on just so you can have another browse if you're just tuning in before we say goodbye. Just want to say thank you very much to everybody that subscribes to the channel, contributes to lineup predictions. Appreciate all of your comments. Make sure that you come back after the game where there should be some post-match content. And enjoy the game. 12:30 kickoff at the London Stadium, live on BT Sports. So like this video, subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV, and enjoy yourself.